I haven't made many podcasts lately because I wanted to relieve some pressure on myself since we are in the situation with moving from Bali back to the Netherlands. And right now we are here in a temporary situation because we're staying in the house of Bas, his uncle. And we're leaving on October 20th. So we are here for 1 month. And then we're flying to Crete, to Greece, to stay there in another house. So yeah, so things are a bit messy during the moment, but I still love to record some podcasts. And sometimes I thought, okay, I need to make a big podcast for about 1 hour. But then I realized sometimes I just have some short things to share. And I want to keep it that way because many people, they told me they preferred the short podcast over the long ones. So I'm just going to do that because I think it's better to share something than nothing. And this time I want to share something about a comment someone made in the concussion community. And it's about social struggles because she told us that she felt like people weren't reaching out to her anymore. She felt alone. People, they just didn't understand what she was going through. And she felt extremely lonely. But she also felt like, hey, I want to reach out to them because I enjoy seeing them. So it's kind of a struggle because she spent years alone. They weren't there for her. But at the same time, they, I think, wouldn't realize what she was going through. And now she was just asking our about our thoughts about this, if we feel the same way. And so many people, they respond that they can relate to this feeling. So I bet you might relate to it as well. I can relate to it as well because when I was in the beginning of my recovery, and then I say at least 2 years, I think even longer, people, they at first they reached out many times. They were always interested in how I was feeling. They visit me at home, but after a couple of months, there was silence. Just didn't understand what I was going through. I tried to explain, but still, it's hard to explain. And yeah, I think you don't only get it when you're going through this yourself. So, what do you do if people weren't there for you, but if you still miss them, if you want to see them? So, what I advised her was to reach out to her, to their friends, and yeah, just see how it feels and maybe speak open about how you feel, and then try to see if this is working for you or not. Because sometimes people aren't meant there for you for the rest of your life, right? Friendships sometimes are temporary, and that's okay too. Sometimes you grow apart, and then maybe after a couple of years, you see each other again and you're super close again. That's possible too, right? So if you feel like wanting to reach out to them, please do and see how you feel. And if you notice that you feel disappointed again because they aren't there for you anymore, or they are not asking you how you feel, or they are not listening to what you went through, then you can also always decide, okay, this is not for me. I don't want to see those friends anymore. And I maybe want to find some new ones who are there for me when I am struggling. So that's what I would do. I lost many friends because of this, but right now I'm okay with it because I think when you can rely on friends, and when everything is fun in life, they are, yeah, they are not there because they are only there when you're having fun. I think that's not a real friendship, right? So life is not always fun. There are some hard moments, and you just want people to be there for you if you're struggling. The same thing you would do for the other people, like for the other person, I guess, right? So yeah, so that's what I would do. Um, and I also learned that some people, they are going through their own struggles, and then they don't have some space for my struggles. And I felt the same way too. When I was struggling, I didn't have any space for other people's struggles too. So I think it's, yeah, that's something that just happened, and my friendship grow apart. And some of them, they grow back together, some of them not. So I just want you to know, for everyone who's listening, that it's normal to struggle with this. That I think you should be open about how you feel and see how the other person responds. And also, if you see those people again, please notice how you feel after you met them. So after you see them, just maybe write down how you feel. Maybe you write down that makes you feel more energized, or you're positive, you're happy that you have someone to talk to again, or you realize that you're disappointed that they are not paying attention to how you feel, that they maybe just continued life and they, yeah, they're just doing fine and they're not missing you, and you feel even more disappointed. That's possible too. Then just decide for yourself what's right for you at this moment and what do you need. Do you need more? Do you need a friendship that's, yeah, not giving you energy? Or, yeah, I think that's the most important thing. Just see how you feel when you meet them again or when you're talking to them again. If it's giving you energy, then it's perfect. But if it's lacking some energy there, if you feel disappointed, or if it maybe feels even confronting because they are doing all those things you did in your whole life, it can be hard too. That's what I noticed too. I always went to some festivals or many restaurants or some parties, and some friends, they are still doing that after all those years. And for me, it's a bit confronting to see them just continuing their life that was my old life. You know what I mean? So I think that's also something to consider if you, yeah, if it feels okay for you to be confronted with it all the time. So yeah, that's something that I just wanted to share very shortly. I also would love it if you have some ideas for this podcast. If you feel like, hey, I want you to talk about this topic, please let me know, because I would love to get some input here. And I think I will make some shorter podcast here, because sometimes I just have a small thing to share and I want you to, yeah, just to hear them without making a huge episode. So just some small updates multiple times instead of one big episode now and then. So yeah, so that's it for today. And also, if you feel like, hey, I want to join this conversation in the concussion community, or if you feel like, hey, I need some extra support here, you can always join this community. You're always so welcome to join this group. Everyone is so supportive, and right now when I record this, it's Monday, and I am reading over all the wins from Friday, because that's what we do every Monday. We read or we share our wins in the community. And it's very uplifting. And every Monday we share our focus points for this week. But of course, besides this community, there are also so many classes and courses with core knowledge from 84 experts. So that's in the community as well. So yeah, so feel free if you feel like, hey, I need this, come and join us. I would love to see you in the community. If you feel like, hey, this is not for me, please go to my Instagram. It's maybe helping as well. Or stay tuned, because I decided to make some shorter podcast here. So for now, I hope you have a good day, have a good week, because it's Monday. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for listening to my podcast. I really hope this was helpful for you. If it was, and if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or YouTube, would you maybe do one small thing in return? Leave a short review or thumbs up on YouTube. The more reviews this podcast will get, the easier it is for other people to find this podcast and to feel less alone and lost in their journey. Oh, and one last thing. I would love it if you share a helpful episode on Instagram in a post or in a story and tag the concussion community in it. Or you can always send me a direct message. I love to see who is listening. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you next time.